am Sky Haas, the field ornithologist at Whitefish Point Bird Observatory.
And I am Elliot Nelson, an extension educator with Michigan Sea Grant.
And today we are going to teach Elliot how to use the Dunkadoo counting software. Okay, and then you just click on the login email. Alright, so now we need to select our project. First, before we select the project, we go down to the bottom of the screen to data sheet. Let's scroll up just a little. Buttons, there we go. So we go with species code right there if you want to go with species code, or if you want to do the common name, like I say.
I see. So there's different ways to display
exactly.
the bird. So I could choose common name, or I could choose the species codes, that's the 4-letter code.
Exactly, and then you can even do the species code or common name with the attribute questions present on the button.
So I see there's a sound option as well. So does that turn on sound for every time I enter it?
Yep, exactly.
So if I like hearing that little blip blip every time I print it.
Exactly. So now we'll scroll back up and find the project that we're going to use.
Wow, a lot of great projects on here.
Yeah, I know. Look at that, Brockway Mountain and WPBO and Mackinac. All right. See, with the 4-letter code, it's kind of nice and uniform, easier to read, I think.
So is this now going to start counting?
Now you
start counting birds?
Do you see a bird? There's one.
Oh, right. That's great.
All right, excellent. And so so this is a great one to choose from, peregrine falcon, and so you've selected peregrine falcon. That automatically you see it at the top left-hand side of the screen. There's the species name, there's the number of birds being observed, and then the list of attribute questions pop up on the side: adult, immature, unknown. Here at WPBO, we have it set automatically to just an unknown, and that's how it'll display in the final readout of data, unless then we choose the particular attribute that we want to select. In this case, the adult peregrine falcon flying by. Yeah,
that was a beautiful adult there. So am I done now at this point?
You are almost done.
Do I have to hit finish?
You have to hit next, and that's what will save the sighting.
Okay.
And
so that just logged that in there then?
Exactly, that it did.
Alright, now why does it say count 0 at this point?
Yeah, that is just you're at the null moment of the worksheet.
So let's say I saw 3 more peregrine falcons.
I'd say you're having a good day.
So do I select the peregrine falcon? And do I tap it 2 more times?
That is one way you can do it. So you could tap it 3 times.
3 falcons.
Exactly. Now, another way that you could do it is, let's say you had 7 peregrine falcons, because, I know, right? And you don't want to have to tap it a bunch of times, or like even 17 peregrine falcons. What you would then do is go to the count number and tap that, and voila, the little keypad pops up, and you can type in your
34
peregrines.
It's a good day.
That's going to flag on eBird, I think.
Let's say I see there's a section for comments here.
Yes.
And let's say I see a rare bird and I want to add some comments in, but there's a lot of other birds coming right now, so I don't have the time to add the comments now. Can I go back in later and see my list?
As you can see from the top of the screen, we have the account that you logged in on. You have your actual count data form. And then you have metadata, which will be your weather and number of visitors and any other metadata questions that you want to add to your data sheet. Then there is the actual data sheet itself. This will display everything that you have counted so far and the hour of which it was counted. So here we have our 1 peregrine falcon adult, and then our generic peregrine falcon 34 flock, which really unprecedented in bird counting. But the thing is, we didn't have 34 peregrine falcons, because that'd be insane. What you actually had were 3 peregrine falcons. So what we want to now do is we have 2 choices. You took the shortcut route. Is that took us straight to the editor, and if you didn't know exactly what you wanted to correct it, if you just hit the editor button plain, then it'll show all your sightings that you've done. Except it's not, because I think we're already there. There we go. And now you can select which sighting you want to do, and such as your 34 peregrines, and change this to the 3 peregrines.
I mean, it was probably just a little bit of an accidental overcount there.
Yeah, just a touch, But then from there, we can select that they were all immatures, And there you can write in your comments.
See, so you hit right below where it says comments. I hit that blank space.
Yeah.
I type in my comment, and then I hit right back to that where it says comments up at the top. Again,
Yeah.
And that comment is logged.
Yeah, but first you have to, and then you have to hit save. When you ever want to, because
So right down here at the bottom where it says
where
save.
it saves, exactly. So I find often, because there are numerous ways to get to your save or to get out of a keypad selection, and when I have the time to find the little icon, I take it. But other times, I'll just find some white space, grab it, get rid of the keyboard, and move on, because some days you're cooking up there.
All right, so I'm going back to my count.
Okay, and now you have a flock of 93 Broadwing hawks coming.
Nice.
And they all are adults.
Select my Broadwing hawk. I'm going to tap the number so that I can type in 93 instead of tapping the 93. Logo 93 times.
Exactly. I find about the time that you get to 11 to 12 birds is about, somewhere between 8 to 12 birds is about the amount of time that I will sometimes tap it in succession versus jumping to and actually getting the keypad up.
Okay.
It depends how fast birds are flying and moving.
I saw 93,
okay.
And I want to say that 2 of them were adults, 1 was immature, and the rest unknown. How do I do that?
Okay, well then what you do now is we're going to get rid of the 93. You're going to change that to a 91, 90, or whatever many unknowns you have, and then you select unknown.
Okay.
Then hit next, and then we go back and then do your 1 adult Broadwing and your 1 immature Broadwing.
1 adult. Dark morph.
Ooh.
That was cool.
That was cool.
Next.
Still waiting for that to happen.
2 immatures, unknown morph. There we go.
And they're all logged in, and now they have, each selection has its own set of attributes that will register in the final files.
That's not too bad.
No, it's kind of painless. So, there goes a Sharpie.
Ooh, done.
All right. There's another.
Done.
There goes another. There's 2 more on this side. Oh, there's another over here.
3,
there's
4,
3 over there.
5, 6, 7.
Oh, that one was a Kestrel.
Oh.
So now we have to jump back to the
American Kestrel.
There you go.
Done. Not bad.
Not bad. And I find when things really start streaming, what I end up doing when it's a really high volume of flight is I will grab a clicker. You haven't totally abandoned clickers. I usually keep a couple around, but I've only found so far in the last 6 weeks that we've been counting here using the Dunkadoo software is I think on 1 or 2 days I've had to grab a clicker for a couple of hours, and what I do is I click a bunch of Sharpies, and then when you get, there'll always be a natural little pause. Because the nice thing is, every time you enter in a sighting, that sighting gets its own timestamp, which it's always kind of nice to know when that bird actually flew. And so I live in a world where I'm okay, where every bird, if I got a lot of Sharpies streaming, what I'll do is I'll if they're at just a rate of flow where, birds are coming by in the hundreds, if not thousands in the course of an hour, is that I'll click a bunch, and then when you get that natural quick little pause, I'll type in the 234 Sharpies that I clicked in the last 7 minutes, type that in, zero out the clicker real fast, and just go back, and I have yet to really have a problem with it, that the software responds so quickly that it works when you get the little breaks in flow, but there are times when birds start moving so fast that you don't want to necessarily have your head on the tablet at all moments, so you just go to the clicker. But honestly, these are rare moments. They usually, for the most part, we've had some really big flights, and the whole time I've been able to just lean over, tap my birds in, and move on to the next sighting. We're sitting here, we're having a good flight. There's a lot of hawks going over. There's some purple finches, but lo and behold, there is a spruce grouse down in the jack pines below us.
That's unusual.
But we don't have a button for that, because we only have the a select group of species that we've decided. Because we could put in all 465 species that have ever been seen in Michigan, and we could have all those buttons, but that gets to be a lot to scroll through. What we have the programs here at Whitefish Point set up with are probably about I think 40 to 50 species on the hawk count. I all have their own primary buttons, and I think about another 20 for the waterbird count.
Which is not too bad, because it only takes me about 2 slides to get
Exactly
through all the species.
Yeah,
so I
and
can find them pretty quick.
And the counters have already, I know our hawk counter, Gary Palmer, has already decided he wishes there were more buttons on the program this season. So I'm like, all right, good to know. So, but spruce grouse is such a low yield bird that we so rarely see that there is no need to put a button for it, because it's just it's never going to get clicked over the course of the season other than like 1-2 times. So what then we do is we just type, we take our stylus and hit the species, the blank species up there in the left hand corner.
All right.
And the beauty is you don't even have to type in the full name. Go for the 4-letter code and it will pop up. So, Sprig. And boom, there you go.
Popped right out. Spruce grouse, or maybe rough/spruce grouse.
Yeah.
We'll go with legit spruce grouse.
Yeah. And then the same thing that you just hit next to log the sighting in, and then back on to, oh, there goes another Sharpie.
Alright.
And there's a chickadee singing down in the woods, so we want to get that recorded, because at this hawk count, we count all the birds.
Well, now look at that.
Yep.
I just hit Eastern Bluebird and entered it, but I didn't mean to.
Okay.
What should I do now?
You should
I accidentally logged an Eastern Bluebird.
Okay, this is the fun part. Go back to the editor now.
Okay.
The editor springs right up, and you click. There's all the species that we've seen so far in editing fashion. Hit your bluebird, and delete with that delightful delete button.
Delete.
And there we
Not
go.
too bad.
It's gone. And so at this point we want to review, see what everything's going on. So we hit our data sheet just to take a look. I often like to just periodically, in a moment of pause between scans looking for birds, to just take a quick look at my data sheet. And you know what? I totally forgot that there was that red-breasted nuthatch that called a couple of times, and we forgot to slide that in. So let's get that in. There we go. But that actually happened quite some time ago. Like sometimes I don't sweat it if it's within a few minutes of hearing it. It's like it's in the hour block that it was seen. I can live with it being 5 minutes old. Except this one was about an hour ago. So we need to edit the timestamp on this if it matters to you. So we hit editor, and we're going to hit that bring up the red-breasted nuthatch again. And now we have the date and time up there, so we hit that. And so the date is correct, so we hit OK on the date. And now we're going to take it back to 10:59. Or 10:26 is good too.
So I see here that I can either just simply add minutes a few at a time.
Yeah.
But I'm at 27, so I need to get all the way to 59. So
Yeah.
instead, I can just click the numbers here.
Exactly. The keypad automatically comes up.
So I'll
Take it
delete
out.
those numbers and type 59, which is a lot quicker than...
And then hit OK. And now we can go to our data sheet.
And
Again,
don't forget to hit save.
And don't forget to hit save. Always hit save.
Always hit save.
The nice thing about it is usually that you'll just sit there and you'll be waiting for it to do something. Especially with the actual count button forms, and you realize, oh, I didn't hit save, so I need to do that now. So now if you hit data sheet, you can see it displayed that now, because we have our sighting for the previous hour of that nuthatch, you can see how all the count totals are split up into hourly blocks starting at the top of the hour, and then the totals, which come right there right after the species. 2 more Sharpies went by.
Well, it's a good day for Sharpies.
It always is. So, I think you've got the hang of this. Now we're getting to the top of the hour. Time to do our weather data.
Okay.
So we go to the metadata.
Metadata.
And we start new. Hit it. You select your new button.
Okay.
And here we go. So the date automatically comes up that it's April 30th. The start time, because we kind of, we're so busy counting, we blew the top of the hour, so now we actually have to go back and edit the time. So same as, changing the time for a species, we just go back and bring up the start time and hit OK. And then for the end time for the hour, we want to hit that and correct it to just 11. And this is automatically done for the hawk counts. It'll just always just be you don't even have to bother changing. It'll always be 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 1 o'clock, or 1300. But for the waterbird count, which starts at sunrise, it's not always on the top of the hour, so we have to do one extra step for waterbird counting to make sure that the top of the hour is always like for this day sunrise was at 6:37, so at the 37
But this isn't
of the
too
hour,
much different than just writing it down in a data sheet, right?
It really
it's essentially
isn't.
the same thing.
Yeah.
You just have a data sheet that's logged on here.
Exactly. I have found, if anything, sometimes it's a little quicker. So, but yeah, it's the same as
And if I get a few raindrops on here, I'm okay. It's not gonna blur my.
No. Definitely. There are times, when too much moisture starts falling onto the precipitation onto the tablet, then it'll get a little wonky, and you want to do your best to keep it dry. Count shacks. Oftentimes when people are counting where there's not a count shack, they've got a car there, or even I found myself sometimes when we were up at when I was testing the software out for the warbler flight, I just simply kept it in my bag and sort of had my bag arched over, so when we were counting in the rain, that the raindrops weren't getting on, but just a little bit of water on it is not gonna. You'll know when it's going cattywampus.
All right. So speaking of water, how do I add the weather on here now?
Okay. Yes. So, all right. So we have a whole series of questions to fly through. So with the login start at sunrise or not, it's not the sunrise time. So what we'll do is we'll scroll, go back up just a little. So if not sunrise, which hour? So this would be the 4th hour of the day. Okay. So we bring that up, hit 4, move on, and then start scrolling down. It's not the last metadata of the day, so we just, let's keep on moving. The official observer will be, other. Other. So, and then you just type in your name or initials, whatever works for you in your final data product. It doesn't have to be, Elliot Tiberius Nelson. It can just be, EN. And then we move on. And then I find for this, even though the button saves it, you still sometimes have to hit the white space just to get the keypad to disappear. And it really becomes reflex for me. I mean, it is pure muscle memory at this point.
So sometimes if I'm having a hard time getting the keypad to disappear, I just simply hit the white space.
Yeah, exactly.
Not bad.
So, and I often find, I try to go down just right in the middle, in between questions, because you don't want to hit something accidentally. I always really try to, go for something that, isn't even, could be confused with questions.
So I've got some wind speed categories here.
Yeah, so we have it set up for both the Buford scale as well as, the actual miles per hour or kilometers per hour, however your station takes the data. Okay. And so you select, the number 3 or whatever the Buford scale was. The wind direction's coming out of the northeast like it always is, because that's what screams for good migration. I scroll on down to the temperature, and it is a whopping 4 degrees, or 42 if you're into Fahrenheit. Humidity, we don't bother taking humidity at the station, so we just keep moving on. Other stations might do that. That's, which is fine, because you can leave a field blank and keep on moving, and it won't disrupt anything. Sometimes I even find, when I have a lot of birds flying, sometimes I'll take those critical weather data and then come back in a moment of pause later, because you can go back and re-edit your weather data as well. So cloud cover, let's say 20% today, visibility's good, 20 kilometers, and we are at no precipitation. And then, you have weather notes that I sometimes write weather notes, sometimes I don't. Usually it's when I'm standing there in just dense fog and be like, there was no fog, I wasn't actually sleeping, I just could not see.
Okay.
was their account together? Automatically yes. And for if you use eBird, which we do here at the station, it asks the final question: are you submitting a complete checklist? Which you are. So we hit yes, and then we save our weather data. And back to counting Sharpies, which there were 5 by in that time. And a Merlin.
Got him 5. And the Merlin.
So that's how you use it. So I think you're ready now to go out and count some birds.
All right.
All right. Job well done.
Thanks, guy.
You're welcome.